Hey guys, welcome to the overview of the inputrrr app. First we start with a general overview of what the user interface can do and what the buttons mean and what functions are in there. And then we come to everything that runs on the spectator's phone a bit later. Let's first start with a quick overview of what the app itself can do and what functions are hidden or what functions are not directly to see. If you open the app, you obviously see the big inputrrr button, which is the main function of the app, more or less. We discuss all the functions in a second of this. Then you have your text window where hazelnut is visible at the moment. The text input window or the text field is mainly there for setting the redirect that the spectator will be redirected to later on his phone. So on the left side, you see there's a G, then we have hazelnut, and then it's also something on the right side. The things on the right side is just to remind you of what the last referrer has been set to and what the page was. The G stands for Google in this way. We come to this also a bit later in the detailed description of the app. So to select what URL you want your spectator to be referred to, because we not only have the Google preset, we also have other URLs set beforehand. Just simply do a long press on the G and the window opens up. There you can see we have Airbnb, Amazon, DuckDuckGo, eBay, Google, TripAdvisor, Wikipedia, and YouTube. For now, maybe we put some more up in the future, but this is what the preset URLs are for in the app right now. So that means when you select, for example, YouTube, and you enter a word in here, and you have the inputrrr page opened on your spectator's phone, your spectator will be referred to a YouTube search. So it brings up a YouTube video on the spectator's phone. Depending on what predictions you want to do, you can select this. And there's always a preset redirect on the database, just in case you don't want to do the prediction, but that comes with the routines. But you always have it visible on the right side of the text screen. So you see G and hazelnut is the last word that has been set. So in case I would turn off on the inputrrr button, open the spectator's phone right now, lock the inputrrr button, the user would be redirected to a Google search for hazelnut. So that makes sense, hopefully. So then there's the send button. Obviously, if you press the send button, you're sending the data to the server, and the redirect is going to be sent. Then we have a few more features in here. A URL scheme. URL scheme is here for setting up or sending information from inputrrr to other apps. There's also a very new special feature, which is URL scheme reverse. I will tell you more about this a bit later. It's really handy to have this when you have apps that can't poll information in the background. A lot of apps are prevented by Apple from polling and from running in the background, so you have to bring them in the foreground, and that's what URL schemes are for, and we have a brand new feature for this, which is really awesome. I'll tell you more about this. Then we have the out button for clipboard. Clipboard, obviously, you copy your redirect name into the clipboard. You also could set shortcuts for this. And then we have motherboard if you want to send something from the spectator's phone directly to your motherboard. Then we have the performance screen that opens up a black screen, as you can see here. You can always exit it by tapping on the bottom left here. This goes for all the performance screens because we have more in here for voice input and for OCR as well. So you can also add your peak to be visible all the time. You have to do this in the settings. I'll show you this in a second as well. Then last but not least, we have the voice button, which is on the bottom right. Voice starts voice input. So right now you could input a redirect with your voice and your spectator's phone will be sent to that word. Then later on, I'll show you that in a minute. And if you do a long press on the voice button, you can switch to OCR mode, which then would bring up text recognition. So if you open up OCR mode, you can hold something above the camera and the camera will see what text that is and refers the spectator's phone to whatever was written down there. Just a quick one, if you want to select the camera, you can do this on the top of the screen here. If you do a little tap on the top left side, it opens up the camera menu and you can switch the camera. So you could also turn over your phone and have it laying down on the table like this, hold a piece of paper with something written on there, because these cameras are much better than the front camera. And yeah, and you can be further away from this as well. I'll show you that detail later on, just to know what this feature is for and where you can find it. So yeah, then you can select the camera. We stick to the front camera. Also, you can select or you can exit the menu with a bottom left tab here. So that is mainly the app, but the most important thing is the inputter button. So the inputter button is, first you can turn it on. Now the inputter web page would be unlocked. So you could access the website either for testing purposes on your own devices. You can also do this on your PC or wherever you want. I recommend testing with different phones. And if you turn it off, it will be locked. So if you're now trying to access your inputter web page, you will always be redirected to a real Google URL. So your web page can never be found when it's turned off. So this is a double security feature. In case something goes wrong in your performance or so, you can just turn it off. And also, I've heard that there are people out there that try to manipulate other people's performances. I've heard that in the future, in the past, and I think it's a double security feature for just preventing people from messing up your performance as well. You do a long press on the turned off inputter button. That's important. You can't do the long press on the activated inputter button. It only works when it's turned off. You do a long press and then you get a context menu that shows up your third-party integrations like DV API. Hold on. I try to keep it open because it self-closes after 5 seconds. You have DV API, second site, Lumen Pro, inject, and third-party API. So you can integrate third-party applications like the Lumen Pro board, and then you can let someone write something down on the Lumen Pro board and the spectator's phone will be redirected to whatever was written down. And all the other integrations are for the same purpose. Like with second site, you could do it with NFC tags, like with things, products or whatever, and you redirect them to an Amazon search or whatever it is, just as an example. But just so you know what these functions are for. And then last but not least, we have the settings, which are up on here. We go through all the settings real quick. You have the login register menu where you can set up your account if you have not had an account from the DV API, or if you have not had an account from the DV portal already. You use the same login as you use with numerous or all our other apps. So there's only one account that needs to be set up. You never need to set up a different account. So only once set up an account if you already have other apps from us, and then just log in with the same credentials that you have used, for example, for numerous at the moment. Then we have the settings. That's quite important. So we have the app language, which is only English for now. But then we have the region. And it's really important that you set the correct region for now. We have 4 different regions, and these show up to what websites the prediction will be referred to. So for example, I am in Germany right now, so I need to use the amazon.de domain. But if you're in the States, for example, use the com domain, or in the uk.co.uk or France FR. But we will deliver more URLs if desired or if required. If someone from you says I might be living in Spain or so, I will happily be adding this to the app. Just let us know on the group, and we will put it in there. That's the other thing. So it's important because not every country has the same websites, and we have sometimes different search constructions in the URL and stuff. This is important that you set this to your correct URL. For most people, I assume USA will be a thing. Also, maybe for now, if you're not on the list already, you can also use the .com domain, so you will be referred to an English-speaking website. All right. So then we have the voice inputs in different languages. Please select whatever language is yours. Then you need to set up the voice input words. Your word is right. Okay, so this is my start and my end phrase, which is required for the voice input. And if you have set this, you're all good to go with voice input and the main setup for the app. So also one more thing, you need to be logged in to use the app. Otherwise it won't work because the website is triggered by, or it requires a user ID, and you will receive your user ID as soon as you go to the menu. Also, you see your licenses from different apps that we have, like Stella Veritas and other apps if you have them on your account. That's really important. You can't really play around with the app unless you are logged in. So then we have the integration screen. This is important for the inputter page because it's not just the referrer of the spectator's phone, but the main function of inputter is the input that you can do from the spectator's phone. So for example, if somebody says something, you have the phone open, say, oh, yeah, let's do a prediction on your phone. You set their phone up, and these integrations are meant to be input to whatever app you want the data to be sent to. So I give you more detailed examples of this. I know that might be a bit confusing right now, but it's not. I promise you it's not. If you follow along, it's pretty easy. It's just different ways to send this to other apps. We also have already other apps that have natively integrated inputter, like Nameforge from Paul Brook. Our apps have a native integration also. But this will all be discussed in detail a bit later on the video. All right. So then you put in your Lumen ID, which is obviously required, and so on, Glyphs ID, motherboard ID, inject ID, and third-party IDs, and so on. That's important that you do this. All right. Then there's a remote function also. You can, for now, only connect it to the Thumper V2, but we're working on more remote integrations for the future. And then there's the most important screen, which is the secondly most important, besides the main screen, probably. It's the inputter settings. So to be able to access the inputter website, you need the URL, your special URL, because it's unique to yourself, because it has the user ID on there. You can see it here, and you can copy it in clipboard. Maybe if you want to test it a bit on your own devices, just copy it. So first you have different themes. Let me real quick explain this. I will show you that in a minute. The themes are meant to be covering the input page on the spectator's phone in case people are looking from the sites to the spectator's phone. So it's meant to be looking like a regular search page a bit. We have the standard inputter theme, we have the light scheme, and the dark scheme. Theme, sorry, not scheme, but theme. So many different words here. I like the dark theme really much. And if you select this here, it will automatically be written to the NFC tag. So get yourself an NFC tag if you have one. If not, we will provide some on the on our website. You can order them from there. Also, I will provide a link where you can get really good NFC tags that we use here. Also in the instruction videos. So then you can simply put, let's say you want to use the theme 3 and you want to write the link. Just go to write tag, hold the NFC tag to your phone, and then hold on, and it's written on there. And now you have a NFC tag that you can then hold to the spectator's phone to open your web page. In case your spectator's phone doesn't have NFC, or you want to test a bit more with a device that does not have NFC, I've built in a QR code that you then can use for the camera, with the camera, to be redirecting the other phone to your inputter page. This is more or less for testing purposes, but you could also use this in real world scenarios if you have it somewhere on a card or written something like this. So we'll talk about this more in the discussion later on with the performances. All right. So this is important that you do this. Oh, one more feature is auto turn off inputter button would be if you have made a prediction to the spectator's phone, it will automatically lock the page again. So the button will be deactivating like this. So it's activated. You make the prediction from a third-party device, like let's say the Lumen board, and inputter receives the input here. It will be sent, and then a few seconds later, the inputter button will be automatically deactivated. So it's locked. So nobody could ever be going to the web page again. Also, just a quick thing. If the web page is still turned on and it's not locked, the website is meant or is done in this way that if you have redirected the spectator's phone, it's not that easy to go back to this URL, to your personal URL. So we have done everything to cover it up, so the spectator is not possibly in the situation to go back to your inputter page. But just in case, we just lock this website again, and then you can do more stuff. All right. It's even though if you don't have, if something went wrong, for example, somebody wrote something wrong down, or they did not write something down, or the signal did not came through, if you then turn it off, the spectator will automatically be redirected to the last search, like put. I don't know where this is coming from, but yeah, it will be redirected to that page, to a Google search with put, for example. So you could also set in advance if you just want to use it for the redirect on the spectator's phone. Like, let's say you do the word test here, and then you send it here. It will be showing a bit later if the inputter button is turned off, because it's not pulling the information that often. So don't worry if it takes a few seconds to appear here. But now you would have preset the redirect. If you now open the inputter page on the spectator's phone and then activate the button first, right? Then open the spectator's phone and then unlock the button, you can send it to wherever you want. Like maybe with a forced prediction. That can also be done. There are so many different ways of presenting this and so many ways to perform the inputter routine. That's the reason because why we put up different performance videos for every possible combination, and there will be a lot, and I'm pretty sure you guys will come up with more ideas in the future. All right, so then real quick, let's bring this to an end. We have the peak settings. You have the watch peak, that is an in-app purchase, but you can have a peak also if somebody writes something down on Lumen board, just to be sure to see whatever was written down, so you don't have to touch your phone. You can have the peak turned on the peak screens, but you have to tap it, or you can always show it, like with numerous, it's the same thing. You can also have vibration there. And then we have a little bit of peak URLs that you can use with different peak devices like Peaksmith, and so you can just copy it and paste it into the other apps, so the information is also pulled on different peak devices. We will implement more peak things in the future as well. Already working on this, but for now you need to use the URLs. Then you have URL schemes that can be opened after the prediction has been done, so you can directly go into another app. For example, just real quick, without showing anything, but what you could do would be, you open the spectator's phone, input a date, you ask the spectator for a date, you input the date on the inputter page, send it over to inputter, and it would automatically be set to Momo as an unlock key. And then it directly opens Momo up for you. So you never have to do anything else, but it also brings it up in front. So you never have to touch your phone to set a new unlock code, for example, on Momo. And the same thing comes with different apps, also with numerous Nexus and stuff. There will be way more integrations. But with the good thing with URL schemes is like it just automatically opens up the next app for you, and that's just a great thing. Just real quick, the reverse function that we have in here is something that you can use from different apps, third-party apps. So if you have a certain construction of a URL scheme that has to have reverse in them, it sends over the data, for example, from, let's say, Nexus at the moment. You would put that in there. It would send over the data to here. The app would work out what it has to do and then starts a countdown with auto-reversing to the last opened app or the app that you have constructed in the URL scheme. So for example, Nexus sends something over to URL scheme. The input processes it, knows it's done, countdown starts, and then it reopens Nexus for you. So you can then go along with Nexus again, and you don't have to touch anything at all. It's a really handy feature and has way more utility, and it has way more users than I can explain real quick here right now. But trust me, this is a change. But trust me, this is a game changer for Magic Apps at all. So this is with URL schemes. And then we have shortcuts. You can also do your own shortcut that then opens up different apps. That is also possible. But I prefer URL schemes because they offer way more and way more stable, how do I say that? It's easier to construct a URL scheme and set it up in other apps than shortcuts if you're not really into shortcuts. But the option is here that you can also create your own shortcuts that then will be opened for whatever it is. You could also do a prediction from here. We discuss this later. So then it's the secret link menu. We will also be implementing another pro feature that is on the importer page itself with hidden links. So you can then sneakily click on links that redirect the spectator's phone to other websites. This is coming in the future. We have the input instructions and the restore purchases button if you have purchased something and reinstalled the app. So that's it mainly for the overview of inputrrr. All right, so let's go real quick into an overview of the inputrrr webpage that you open up on the spectator's phone and what it can do, so you know about what it is and what is important about it. So you opened up the inputrrr on the spectator's phone. This is an Android phone. It works on all devices, even on PCs, but I wouldn't recommend it doing there, but it's mainly used on phones, but it works on Android and iOS. And if you still have a Windows phone, I assume it would also work there as well, right? So this is the main page that would be opened up. This is theme number 1. And then here you could enter whatever text you want to enter directly to all of your apps that you have. Like, let's say you want to send something to Nameforge, you type it in, send text, bams, it sends to Nameforge. You can enter a date, which then is sent to whatever app you want, like Momo or stuff, and then it would be set to an unlock code on your phone later on. There's so many different possibilities for that. We will do a detailed instruction on this as well with all the functions that are in there, but I just want to give you a quick overview here. Then you can also set the search term in here. Also by long pressing on the menu, you can then, oh no, hold on. By pressing on the menu, it opens up. It's a bit too light right now, but you have the same buttons as on the app. So you can set it to Airbnb, Amazon, Google search, or whatever. You also get the last redirect on the screen and also have the send here. So just so you know, in case you type something in here on the spectator's phone, the phone will be redirected directly to the page and cannot go back to the screen anymore, unless you're using the NFC tag or type in your URL, just so you know. And then let's say you have made your inputs to different apps because you stole any information beforehand, or you asked them for something, and then you say to them, you make another prediction on Google. So I would start the routine at all in saying, oh, could you open up your phone on a Google website? Or in a Google search and hand it out to me. So I would take it over, then secretly open up the inputrrr page, and then I'm here. So from here I can do my thing to whatever I want to do to send it to all my apps. So you then go into prediction mode and the app would turn black. So this is just the screen looks like this, but it's still turned on. You can then place it on the phone, on the table with the face down. I leave it face up so you can see what happens now. So if I would turn off the inputrrr button here, right now, a few seconds later, the phone would be redirected to the last Google search, which would be test, and it would bring up a German search page for test. And if you would go back, you would end up at a Google search. So it's not possible to go back to your inputrrr page. It's pretty good covered on the spectator's phone, so they will never find your URL and never find where this prediction came from. Okay, let's go real quick into a routine that you can do with voice input on your phone and redirecting the spectator's phone with nothing else but just using your own voice, right? So you would unlock the inputrrr page, start voice input, your screen turns black and it listens in the background on your phone. Then you take the spectator's phone, open up the inputrrr page, start the prediction mode. Before that, you can do whatever you want to do. You not necessarily have to input any data there, but you can. It's there for you. Then you go into prediction mode. Some phones show this on the side. It's mostly Android. By iOS, it looks different. It's mostly black there. But then you go into your start and end phrase. So let's choose a word. Your word is playing card, right? Your phone sees that you have done playing card, and in a few seconds later it will redirect the spectator's phone to a search on Google showing up playing cards. There you go. So this is the most basic routine that you can do with voice input. I really love this. Of course, you have to be a bit aware if you're using voice input with your surroundings. It's really, really noisy. It sometimes create problems in picking up the right words. That's the reason why you have your peak screen here. If something goes wrong, you know that. And mostly the autocorrect from Google in the search, if the word is a little bit wrong, Google gets it still right. So sometimes it corrects the word if something strange is coming out here. So it will be then redirected to the right URL. So let's try another prediction with Wikipedia, for example. You unlock the page using voice input, set up the spectator's phone, do whatever you have to do then on inputting stuff, whatever, start the prediction mode. Your word is Philippines, right? And the voice input automatically sees Philippines and sends the spectator phone to a Wikipedia search for Philippines. So you can choose from different URLs there, and it really comes in handy to make different predictions on there, not just limited to a Google search, but you can also do Airbnb for different locations and stuff. It makes it more believable as a prediction. You obviously have to play around with this a little bit, what suits your needs. And it's really important, just real quick with that you select the correct region or domain. Sometimes if you, for example, we're in Germany right now and I'm making a prediction on tripadvisor.com or something, for example, it brings up screens that say, oh, do you want to change the region or something? So that would then be above your prediction, and that doesn't look good. Just so you're aware, play around with this a bit. It depends really on what region you are in, and more than not the region that the spectator's phone is set to as well. So just be aware of this a tiny bit. With Google it always works. eBay always works, Wikipedia always works. We had this sometimes happening with TripAdvisor, so just play around just so you know what might happen or if that happens for you. All right, so that is the voice input. Okay, let's go real quick into a demonstration using inputrrr, the Lumen Pro board, and redirecting on the spectator's phone with something that was written down on the Lumen Pro board. So obviously you want to have made your Lumen Pro setup in the background with the Lumen app. Then you want to activate the Lumen as an input in inputrrr, obviously. Activate the page. We have set a Google search here right now. Then you could obviously go into perform mode to make your screen appear turned off. I won't do this for now, so you can still see what is going on. So you take your spectator's phone, set it up for inputrrr, start the prediction, turn it face down. I'll leave it face up for you to see. Let's say we want to do as a prediction spoon right now. Spoon. Lumen Pro is pulling it in the background and generating word of it and then sending it over. There you go. It's sending it over, automatically redirects the spectator's phone to a spoon search on Google. And you can also do this with an Amazon search or whatever it is. So yeah, that's the integration of Lumen Pro.